So here I've got a can of Plasti dip. This stuff I use quite often actually. It's my favorite. Like, yeah, anyway, and I'll tell you why. Now, I've used spray paints. I grew up just, having fun, doing different things, whatever. Having a good time with just spray paint, but not that I did any graffiti or anything. I wasn't into that, but just things, you wanted to freshen up or whatever, spray paint. Now, the problem with spray paint is it takes a ton of prep. It's got to be the right temperatures, and it usually doesn't last very well anyway, and it chips, and there's just all kinds of issues. But with Plasti dip, it's actually quite a bit different. So this stuff is so much more fun to actually use. Now I've done like rims on cars. I've done emblems, the door handles. Like I've done a lot of different things. I use it on cars a lot for some reason, just to give it a little bit of a custom look for whatever. But the reason I love it is it's not permanent. So you can actually, you just kind of tape off. Like you don't even have to like tape it off super well. You just kind of give some space between whatever it is. Like on the door handle, the door handle would be here, but I would tape it off like around this area. So I'm actually spraying directly on the paint as well, which is kind of interesting. You just clean it real good, make sure it's prepped right. You don't need to sand, you don't need to do any of that stuff, which on all other paints, you gotta sand, you gotta make it all whatever. But this stuff, like you just clean it real well. And then if you don't like it, you just peel it off. Like it's super weird. And it sounds like, okay, well, how long does it actually last? So I did all of my car emblems, the door handles, and for years, no problems, just stayed on. And then if you wanted to change it or do a different color or something, you just peel it off. So it's super nice that way. I will say if you don't get a good edge on it, like if you don't get it, if you don't paint to the edges very well, it can peel. I have had that happen just because like I didn't quite paint to the edge as well. Like it was really thin on the edge. And so you can kind of catch it. But another thing too is you can even just like heat it up and kind of put it back on and like press on it. Obviously it's not as nice looking, right? Or you just peel it off and redo it. And it's super fast. Like the first coat's like 15 minutes, and then after that's like 5 minutes in between. So you can paint something. I'd put 3 or 4 coats on it and you're good to go. So super fun, but I would recommend you get something like this that's got a handle, so you're not like using your fingers to do it. You just kind of pull this and squeeze it and it'll paint, and then it gives you a bit more direction and stuff too. So yeah, this stuff is literally my favorite. The only down part of it is it's like never gloss, but they do make a gloss version, which I keep around as well. And I will say this isn't the shiniest of glosses, but you can make it a bit shinier. But most of it's just a flat color. Yeah, so really, I like how it's not like you can paint over a car, and then if you don't like it, you peel it off and you've got fresh paint. Like your paint's protected. Like this stuff just protects your paint instead, it doesn't mess with it at all. So pretty cool that way. Yeah, if you're looking to do some custom stuff on your cars or whatever, and you don't want something permanent, like spray paint, you don't want to mess it up, and then even overspray is easy to get off. And then you just, whatever your tape is, you just pull on your tape and it'll pull it off your paint right to the edges of whatever you're painting, and it comes right off. So it's just a really easy paint to use, and it's not permanent, which is great because I mean, you can leave it on there for a long time, but you don't have to. So highly recommend this stuff. It is amazing. Yeah, can't say enough about it.